everyone. My name is Costanza, and I work for the Swarm Foundation, a decentralized and censorship-resistant storage and communication network. Today, I'll be talking about the various levels of internet censorship and how Web3 can help us. To do so, I'm going to use the Wikipedia case study. Before I start, a disclaimer. First of all, I'm not a lawyer, and this talk is not legal advice. And everything I'm saying is a personal view, and I do not represent an organization that I am or I was affiliated with. So let's start. What is internet censorship? There are several layers to consider for internet censorship. This is because internet censorship is the spread of fake news. Think about troll farms that obfuscate the truth. Censorship is shadow banning. If a tree falls in a forest, but no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? Censorship is preventing people from accessing content. Censorship is deplatforming. Censorship is cutting off people from accessing internet service providers. Censorship is cutting off energy power from internet service providers. Censorship is not giving people the materials necessary to build the hardware. Censorship is arresting someone to force them to do any of the above. So in this talk, we're going to focus on how Wikipedia gets censored, and spoiler, those are the three ways in which it happened, and how the Swarm network can help. So what do Venezuela, the UK, Russia, China, and Australia, and all the countries in red have in common? They all at some point censored Wikipedia. And the list is actually much longer. You can find a Wikipedia article on Wikipedia censorship. And this is because many, in fact, don't know that Wikipedia was censored by seemingly unassuming actors like France. Question is, why? The official explanation is always the same: protecting people. Whenever something doesn't follow the narrative that a government approves, they say that it spreads fake news, it discloses classified information. So basically, anything that doesn't agree with the government narrative of a country is a reason good enough to stop Wikipedia. And there is two ways in which it can happen. On a human level, by arresting people, by stopping the infrastructure, and on a technical level, by preventing people from accessing the content. So as we can see in these days, censorship is quite sneaky. And you can protect, you can decentralize your code, but there is a human component. This is what happened with Tornado Cash when the founder got arrested, and this is what happened with Wikipedia. About 10 years ago, the French intelligence agency, the equivalent of the CIA, contacted the Wikimedia Foundation to ask them to take down a page because it contained classified military information and broke the French law. So the Wikimedia Foundation asked for more details. Which part does it go against the law? There was no response from the CIA, from the French CIA. Case closed? Not really. Not long after, a Wikipedia volunteer was arrested and ordered to take down the page under the threat of custody and charges. What is funny here is that it had no connection whatsoever to the article. It didn't even know that it existed. It didn't edit it. The only reason why they chose him, because it was quite well known within the Wikimedia community, so it was very easy to be identified. Now, there is a plot twist, and there is a happy ending. The article was restored by a Wikipedia volunteer from outside of France. And karma is a bitch. So the article became the most read page on the French Wikipedia. Now, I'm mentioning this case because it's obsolete. It was like 10 years ago. But this is way more common than we believe. Censorship on a human level, by threatening and arresting people, is the most common type of censorship we have. And of course, we are all well aware of other examples that happen close to us. But then, you can also censor using the middleman, the infrastructure, by threatening them. So threatening means that the government that wants to censor content can impose sanctions over an infrastructure middleman, over an association. And this is what happened with Tornado Cash when the GitHub repo was taken down. And what happened recently with Wikipedia. In November 2022, a Russian court fined Wikimedia Foundation 2 million rubles for not deleting 2 articles on the Russian Wikipedia. February 2023, a Moscow court fined the Wikimedia Foundation 2 million rubles for not deleting articles about the army. April 2023, a few months ago, the same court fined the Wikimedia Foundation 800,000 rubles for not deleting the lyrics of several songs by a rock band. So, what about blocking content? So this is the third way in which you can censor Wikipedia, by preventing people from accessing it. And there are 2 actors at play here: governments and ISPs, internet service providers. And I see some confused faces here. So yes, ISPs, private actors, acted on their own and censored Wikipedia in the past. This is because, like most Web2 organizations, as of today, the Wikimedia infrastructure is hosted in 6 data centers between the US, Europe, and Singapore. Data centers that belong to private organizations like Equinix, Cyrus1, Occam Group, Halas, in a very centralized fashion. So until a few years ago, Wikipedia was accessed through unsecure HTTP protocol. So basically, third party could censor a few entries of Wikipedia, targeting them. So anything that was deemed problematic and offensive and that will not fit their agenda. And yeah, like we saw before, that was done by governments and by ISPs. ISPs, private entities, were deciding what people could and could not read. That changed finally in about 2015 when Wikipedia started running on HTTPS. So partial censorship was not possible anymore. So as of today, if someone wants to target Wikipedia, they have 3 options. Some countries completely drop their ban and just accept it. Some other countries, they ban completely Wikipedia, so you can't access it at all. Some other countries are threatening people to delete the entries. And I know what you're thinking. So if hypothetically, and I can't stress enough that this is not legal advice, if you want to use Wikipedia in a place where, for whatever reason, it is not available, how do you do? Yes, you can download a VPN, you can use Tor, and you can try to access Wikipedia. And that is a great solution, except that it's not, because VPN is centralized. VPNs are centralized. So they can be blocked by governments or ISPs. They are not incentivized, so there is no guarantee that people will continue to use them if they are censored or blocked. And this is what happened to me last time I went to China in 2019. I had been to China a few times before, and I always used a VPN that was working just fine. But in 2019, when I got there, the VPN that I normally would use didn't work. So I was cut off from the internet, and that's why we need a decentralized and unstoppable solution that doesn't rely on that. So here is a pretty dope asynchronous mirror of Wikipedia, which is hosted in a decentralized manner on the Swarm network. So anyone connected to it can access and search through the complete set of information. How does it work? There is two components here that makes it censorship resistant. First of all, when you upload a file, the file gets divided into small chunks. And each chunk is stored on the network on several nodes. And then there is the academia routing. Nodes communicate with each other in this way. So we have Alice, and Alice wants to send a message to Dave. But she doesn't know Dave, she's not connected to Dave. But she's connected to Bob. So she sends a message to Bob because she knows that Bob is somewhat closer to Dave. Now, Bob doesn't know Dave, but he knows Carol. And he knows that Carol is more likely to know Dave. So he sends a message to Carol. And Carol is like, yeah, I know Dave. And she sends a message to Dave. And this is how Alice communicates to Dave and to any other nodes in the network. Now, what is important here is that by following this communication pattern, it ensures that not Dave, not anyone else, knows that the request started from Alice. And in the same way, Alice doesn't know that Dave is the final endpoint. It can be someone else. So this communication strategy has the added benefit of anonymity for both the senders and the receiver. So it guarantees anonymity at the network level. And so what happens is that, thanks to chunks and to academia routing, nodes don't know what they're storing, don't know who is storing what, and that gives them plausible deniability. So node operators cannot be held accountable. So that prevents from middleman censorship. So what can we learn from here? We saw the three ways in which Wikipedia gets censored: blocking access to content, deplatforming, and arresting people. And this is important because Wikipedia is just one example of permissionless publishing. Publishing your website, your application on Swarm will give you total ownership of your content, making censorship more difficult. So what is next? I'm not sure it's public yet, but we are launching Swarm 2.0, which includes ETHGlobal, a package to help with censorship-resistant publishing. And finally, and this is legal advice, get yourself a shadowy super lawyer. Thank you.